friends, this is Eunice again. Thanks for joining me today. Today, I just wanted to share about how I embraced motherhood because it was definitely a journey. I started having kids when I was 23, and I had three kids back to back in 2.5 years, basically. And so motherhood was kind of like a flurry to me. I knew that we would be open to having kids, but I didn't actually know what having kids entailed because I didn't have much experience babysitting in my life, and I'm the youngest child, so I didn't have like younger siblings to tend to in my life, and so I was pretty shocked into motherhood, I would say. A scripture I want to share with you today is Psalm 127. Sons are a heritage from the Lord, children a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are sons born in one's youth. Blessed is a man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be put to shame when they contend with their enemies in the gate. And so, many of us are familiar with this scripture as I was, but it was a journey for me to look at my kids each as a blessing and as a reward from the Lord when I was quite young and had no idea what I was doing. A pivotal motherhood moment for me was when my kids were all little like that. My husband and I got to attend this meeting, but it was halfway across the country. And so, like he and I did in our youth, we just piled the kids in our minivan and we took a road trip. So it was 17 hours to go to this meeting. But because my husband was involved in the meeting, he was busy. And so I was tending to the three little kids mostly by myself. And because it was like a new environment, I didn't have anyone really helping me. So the day the big meeting came, my husband was in the front and I had to tend to my three little toddlers in the back. And so the meeting involved a lot of like big name ministers, and so we went to this meeting, and I was sitting in the back of this church. And in the back of the church, I was trying to keep my kids quiet because the meeting was starting. Well, before I knew it, I don't know if it's because like I'm used to their noise and I didn't notice they were making a lot of noise, but this usher stood before me and he very rudely asked me to leave the meeting. And so I was mortified. I was so embarrassed because basically the two pews around us all turned to stare at me. And I was the only mom there at the time. So horrified, I quickly gathered the kids and left the meeting. Well, when I left the meeting, for whatever reason, the way the church was set up, there was no lobby. There was no basement for me to go to, no upstairs for me to go to. It was a really, I guess because it was like a smaller church or something, literally the only place I could go to keep my kids quiet was in the women's bathroom. And I was just horrified. I felt so embarrassed. And, I just kept thinking, wow, I'm missing the whole meeting. We just drove 17 hours to get here. And I was just kicked out. My husband's in the front enjoying the meeting. It was a really hard moment for me. So what happened is at the end of the meeting, I went to go find my husband, and he's sitting there telling me, oh my goodness, what did you think? Wasn't it amazing? And then I hear all the other congregants coming out, and they're also saying the same thing, wow, the presence of the Lord was so strong. That meeting was amazing. It was incredible. All these amazing things about the meeting that I just completely missed. So I just held back my tears. I was really sad and depressed. I was like, Lord, everyone got to encounter you in that meeting except for me. I was sitting in the back with my kids in the bathroom trying to keep them quiet. And I was really devastated, honestly. So the day went on and we were at another meeting, and this old friend I had saw me and was like, Eunice, are you okay? Because you haven't looked okay all day. And I think it's because she said something, because she could tell I was holding back my tears the whole day. So finally, this sweet mom, when she asked me, I just burst into tears and told her what had happened. And she was just so sorry and was trying to encourage me. And she is just like the sweetest soul. But what actually happened is that night, and like once the tears started flowing that night, and literally for a solid week, I cried almost nonstop. And I felt like what happened at that meeting unearthed like this flood of just years I had built up of disappointments, um, just not having let go of my time when I was single, or not having fully embraced the season that the Lord had for me. And so looking back, I just cried so many tears that week. And what I mean, I cried a lot is like I would wake up in the middle of the night and my pillow would be wet because I had been crying in my sleep. I never have experienced anything like that since, but I feel like the Lord was actually pulling out and exposing an idol that was in my life, and something that I had not done, which was embracing this new season in my life. Because previously I had been so involved in my church. I even worked at our church. I was always like up helping the pastor. But when my season switched, I think I didn't fully embrace it. And so what the Lord was teaching me was like, Eunice, in this time where you are hidden, in this time where no one sees you, are you willing to still meet with me? And that's the lesson that the Lord taught me in that time, is when I just repented and I gave my heart to him again, and I gave my motherhood to him again, and I asked him to just reshape me. I learned in that time to encounter the Lord in my everyday moments as a mom. And so this is a blog post I wrote previously, but I'm calling this video, Can God Meet Me in the Bathroom? And the reason why is because all those people were in that meeting. The presence of the Lord fell. But what I also learned over time is that the Lord's presence is with me everywhere. When I am changing my kids' diapers, when I'm giving them a bath, when I'm cooking dinner, doing dishes, or picking up toys yet again for the next time, I learned to embrace my season, to give thanks for the beautiful gifts that the Lord gave me, and to just embrace where I was. And as I embraced my season of motherhood is when the Lord was so faithful and true in meeting me at home in my everyday moments, so that when my husband would come home from these meetings and share about them, I wouldn't feel sadness or jealousy over the fact that I missed that meeting. I would then respond and tell him about my day and how the Lord met me in my mundane, ordinary, plain day. And so I want to encourage every single mom out there that the Lord can meet you in any place. He is not contained to a building, and he loves you so deeply, and he gave you these children for a reason. And the reason is not to kill the joy or fun out of your life. The reason is not to just make you work harder or to sacrifice more. It's out of his great love for us. And so I hope that this encourages you in some way, that you too will come to that moment where you are embracing the season of motherhood that the Lord has you in. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening.